Hi Aquarius, welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings from the Heart. Thanks ever so much for joining me on your reading. So this is your how does your ex feel about you reading. Now, I decided to do these readings because the last ones, how does your he or she feel about you reading, that we've done about a month, 6 weeks ago, something like that. I love doing those ones, but they're not very specific to whether it's an ex or somebody that's still in your life. So I really wanted to do these readings for how the ex, so this is somebody that you finish with, this is somebody that's ended with, maybe they're still kind of hovering around, but they are, if we were to give them a title, definitely the ex. Okay, so, and this was suggested to me by a few subscribers, and I thought this would be an excellent reading to do. The difference between this one and the how does he or she feel about you reading, that this now has 13 areas. What we're looking at is who the ex is in their life right now, what the ex's strengths are as a person, what their weaknesses are, how they feel about you in position 4. Position 5 is how you feel about them. Position 6 is what was the strengths in your relationship. Position 7, what the weaknesses were. And position 8, what's the potential for you and your ex to reconcile. Position 9 is what's the overall analysis of who this ex is. Position 10 is what are the major blocks stopping you and your ex from being together. Position 11 is what would be the outcome if you and your ex were to get together again. And position 12 is if the ex came back, should you take them back? And that's not a straightforward thing, so it's not really a yes or no. The card really dictates, well, what should you do and how should you go about it if they did come back. So we're going to use the Pamela Coleman Smith deck that I love to use, which is this one, and the clarifier is the Hanson Roberts Tarot deck, miniature deck here. So we're going to put these to one side here and we're going to start shuffling the cards. So Universe Spirit, show me who this ex is in their life right now. Who is the ex as a person in their life right now? Who is Aquarius's ex in their life right now? Show me. And I might need to shuffle around sort of some of the directions of the cards because I need the camera to pick up everything. What are the strengths of this ex? Can you show me what the strengths are of this ex? Who is the strength? What is the strength of Aquarius's ex? Show me. What is the weakness of Aquarius's ex? What is their weakness? How does the ex feel for Aquarius? How does the ex feel for Aquarius? Show me. And how does Aquarius feel for the ex? How does Aquarius feel for the ex? Show me. Let me just come around to the other side, so because I've got a camera positioned at a certain angle here. What were the strengths in this relationship between the ex and Aquarius? What were the strengths when they were together? What were the strengths in this relationship? And what is the weakness of this relationship between Aquarius and the ex? What is the weakness? What was the weakness of their relationship? What is the potential for Aquarius and this ex to reconcile? What is the potential for Aquarius and the ex to reconcile? Can you show me, please, the overall analysis of who this ex is? Please show me the overall analysis of who Aquarius's ex is. And what would be the main blocks to Aquarius and the ex coming together again? What would be the main blockages for Aquarius and the ex coming together again? Show me. If Aquarius and the ex were to reconcile, what would be the overall outcome? If Aquarius and the ex were to reconcile, what would be the overall outcome? And finally, can you show me if the ex came back to Aquarius, should Aquarius take them back? Show me. Hope you can see that card there. I might need to move the camera a little bit along because we're not getting a very good picture on some of these cards, or you know, a very good view of them. So I'm just going to pull this down a little bit here. We're going to pull the camera back. It's difficult recording. I'm recording from a different location at the minute, so trying to get everything from, you know, normally when I record from my home on my table, and it's easier to, because I've got all the monitors and stuff, not privy to it. So there we go. That's a lot better, isn't it? Yeah, let's just make sure that those are all aligned. Alright, so that's good enough. Let's have a look. Who's the ex in their life at the moment, Aquarius? Who are they? What's going on with them? So they're happy, the Sun. They are the Sun. The ex might be happy, confident, feeling fairly successful in their life right now. They might have gone abroad, but the Sun energy in the tarot is a card that represents somebody who feels good, because that's what the Sun is. The Sun is bright, it's cheerful, it's joyous. There's a great sense of, you know, feeling good about oneself. And so I feel that right now in the ex's life, they're feeling quite strong with the Sun energy. They're feeling quite joyous, quite joyful, quite happy, possibly quite content with that Sun energy showing here. That's what they're showing us with the Sun. Now, these are personal readings you can buy on the website, but on the general reading, it has to be a shorter reading. So this is about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but usually it's about up to an hour on the actual website. What is the strength of this ex? Oh dear, the Seven of Swords is a strength. So their strength is in deception. The Seven of Swords is, when it comes to a love reading, somebody who is quite calculating. Somebody who is very good at putting the wool over people's eyes. The Seven of Swords represents somebody who can get away with stuff. So this is the type of person who puts a front on often. Their strength is in deceiving, unfortunately, with that Seven of Swords, Aquarius. Because that's the Seven of Swords card when it comes to love. It represents to be very calculating, to lie, to deceive, to get away with things in terms of relationships. This is the card of the cheat, is the Seven of Swords energy. This is the card of the person who calculates every step that they make within a relationship. And I was hoping that wouldn't turn up, but that is their strength. This is the card of somebody who's quite a manipulator when it comes to love in the tarot. So this person's quite good at manipulating and deceiving, unfortunately. That's their speciality. That's where their strengths lie, which is a shame. What is their weakness? And also the Seven of Swords is also somebody who avoids things. So they're very much good at avoiding important issues as well when you get a Seven of Swords. Because Seven of Swords means we avoid what needs to be confronted. This is the card of the person that runs away as well. What is the weakness of this ex? What is their weakness? The Star in the reverse. They tend to give up quite easily with the Star in the reverse. They've got a, what's the word I'm looking for? They seem to have a penchant for looking at things as the cup half full rather than half empty, rather than half full. That's the Star in the reverse. The Star in the reverse says, I don't have any faith. The Star in the reverse says, I don't have any hope. The Star in the reverse says, I don't trust. The Star in the reverse says, I don't have any faith. So their weaknesses, I think, with the Star in the reverse, they tend to give up quite easily. They don't seem to look at things in a very positive way. It might be that this person might have been very hard to please as an individual, purely based on that card there, that their weakness is the Star in the reverse. They don't really, if there's a difficulty that this ex goes through, they're more than likely to say, well, if it doesn't work out within an allotted time, I'm off. Maybe that's why their strengths are in deception. Maybe they don't say much. Maybe they tend to avoid situations because they tend to give up on things quite easily, especially in terms of relationships. How do they feel about you? Well, they're over the worst. Ten of Swords in the reverse. So Ten of Swords in the reverse can mean two things. Ten of Swords in the reverse can either mean that you've made peace, you've resolved a situation, there's no more pain here. So this is the card about healing. I think that this person has healed over you more than anything. Sometimes the Ten of Swords in the reverse can mean that you're delaying ending something, but this is about the ex, so it wouldn't be that. I think that this Ten of Swords in the reverse is actually saying, it depends what the clarifiers are, but I think more than likely this ex has healed over the situation concerning you. Because the Ten of Swords in the reverse says, well, I'm over the worst. If you get this in the upright, it can mean that somebody feels depressed. Or they feel like a failure. Or with the feeling of the Ten of Swords, it could be, well, I betrayed this person. I feel like I've put the knives in this ex's, in Aquarius's back. I feel like I've caused a whole load of damage and hurt towards Aquarius. But in the reverse it says, well, actually I'm okay about this now. I've healed over it, I've made my peace, and I've accepted the situation. So I think that the ex looks like they're in a place of acceptance. What is your feeling towards the ex, Aquarius? Wow, the Two of Cups is in the reverse. You're kind of the same thing. There isn't much, you don't see a balance between you and the ex. I don't think that you're emotionally connected anymore to this individual to a certain extent with the Two of Cups in the reverse. You might feel that this person let you down with the Two of Cups in the reverse, because the Two of Cups means in the upright that it's a pledge, it's a promise. In the reverse it says we break the promise. So you might feel that this person broke promises to you. And as a result of that, your feelings towards them are, well, I no longer feel that emotional connection with them. Maybe some of you guys feel that this person was probably a false soulmate, because you can get things like false soulmates and false twin flames. So this person wasn't really a twin flame. They weren't really a soulmate. We weren't really connected on an emotional or a spiritual or a psychic level with the Two of Cups energy. Some of you guys feel that this is the end completely, because the Two of Cups in the reverse means to fall out with a person as well. So I feel that you guys have disconnected in one way or another from the ex, showing us the Two of Cups there. And they seem to be over you because they've accepted that this situation is over, and it looks to me like they've been trying to move on. What were the strengths in this relationship when you had it, Aquarius? Oh, the strengths were the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. So that's interesting that the strengths of the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse should have been. I think that for a certain time, I think that the strengths in this relationship were when you were in it. It wasn't meant to be something for the long term, because the Wheel of Fortune in the upright means that the person is your destiny. You're fated to be with this individual in the upright. So fate and destiny play a hand when you get the Wheel of Fortune in love when it's in the upright. But in the reverse, this says this is a blockage. So the strengths in this relationship, I feel, looking at that card so far, we'll get the clarifiers on that and try and clarify what it means by the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, is that this relationship was only meant to be for a certain amount of time. And I think the strengths when you were together was that for that certain amount of time, both of you, I feel, were meant to have learned something from each other, because the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse can only go so far. This is the card of blockage, it's the card about delays. It's the card that says that things can only go for a certain amount of time before they actually end. So I feel that the strengths in this relationship were that within this period of time that you were with this person, Aquarius, you were meant to learn something from the experience. But it wasn't an experience that was meant to be long-term. It was sent to you as a way to help you learn, to help you experience, to help you mature, to help you discover perhaps something within yourself, with that Wheel of Fortune showing reverse. What was the weakness in this relationship? The Four of Swords in the reverse. Four of Swords in the reverse speaks about restlessness. So when you get it in a love reading, the Four of Swords in the reverse says that somebody's being restless, somebody's not. If you get the Four of Swords in the upright, they're kind of the same thing sometimes, the Four of Swords in the upright and the Four of Swords reverse. The Four of Swords in the reverse, in the upright, means that somebody is a little bit withdrawn. And sometimes when you get this card, it's best not to push the situation, because one of you, with the Four of Swords in the reverse, seems to be not telling stuff, not opening up, seems to be quite withdrawn. And it's really weird. I've just thought about something with that Four of Swords in the reverse, because the Four of Swords in the reverse means restlessness. This can also mean that it's difficult to lie down the sword. It's difficult to accept a situation. It's difficult to... I feel that the weakness was that both of you kept coming back, because the Four of Swords in the reverse says, we don't give up on this thing. In the upright, this means to let something go, to surrender to it, to let it go. It means to have space. In the reverse, you're not really giving the relationship space. So I feel that the weakness was that even though you guys were only together perhaps for a certain amount of time in which you were meant to learn something from the experience that was going to benefit you going forward, I feel it was difficult to let go of the situation, let go of the relationship with that Four of Swords in the reverse. It was difficult to withdraw, to give each other space. I do feel that there was something, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Devil card sitting on that card there, because it might be that you had a really strong tie to this individual. Okay, now when you get the devil, for example, within love, sometimes this is a really strong karmic tie. You can't explain why you're drawn to an individual, but you just are. And I just get the impression that this card is something to do with that. And I feel that the weakness was that even though you were only the strength of the matter was with the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, that you were only together for a certain amount of time. And in that time, you were meant to learn something that was going to take you on to other relationships that would be more beneficial. I feel that there was difficulty accepting that with the Four of Swords. It always feels to me with the Four of Swords in reverse, the weakness was not listening to what your intuition was telling you. That's why we've got the mental restlessness showing here with the Four of Swords. And potentially for some of you, the inability to let go of the situation. What's the potential for you and this ex to reconcile? Well, yeah, there is. Nine of Coins in the reverse. Nine of Coins in the reverse means to commit. So when you get a Nine of Coins in the upright, this means somebody on their own often. This means somebody's comfortable being on their own. This is somebody who's comfortable having their own space. This is somebody who really values themselves. When you get the Nine of Coins in the reverse, this can mean that somebody now wants to come out of a time of isolation and withdrawal. So there is the potential here, I feel, with this Nine of Coins in the reverse. Because if you think about the Nine of Coins, if we're looking at somebody who lives on their own, the Nine of Coins in the reverse might mean that you're moving back in with family. It might mean that if you lived with your ex for a little bit, you're moving back in with your ex with the Nine of Coins in the reverse. So there is the potential, I feel, with this Nine of Coins in the reverse for you guys to potentially reconcile with the ex. Let's have a look at the next area. And the next area talks about who the ex is. So what's the overall analysis of who this person was in your life? Well, they're quite a weak individual. I mean, it depends, because the Strength card, if we looked at it as a male and a female card, the female would be the Strength and the male would be the Lion. As a Strength energy, this person tends to be very impatient. I think the overall analysis of, and it would probably work out very well here with the Star in the reverse as being their weakness. They tend to give up quite easily. They tend to lose hope quite easily. That's the problem. Maybe that's why their strengths are to lie and to deceive. Possibly even to run away or avoid, because they tend to give up on situations quite easily with the Star energy. And remember, the major cards are the major energies around this individual. So they're very, very strong with this person. And as a person, their strength in the reverse. They have very little patience and they don't know how to. I feel that with this ex that I'm looking at, with the strength showing as them as the overall analysis of who this person is, I feel that they tend to get very overwhelmed. So it almost feels like to me that as a person, they can get to a point of depression sometimes, feeling overwhelmed. They don't like to feel oppressed by relationships. I also feel with strength in the reverse showing here for this individual. They lack the tenacity and the dedication it takes to see a relationship through. Because if you get strength in the upright, as a love card, this can mean two people working together to overcome opposing forces. The Lion and the Lady really should, the Lady really on this card shouldn't be patting that Lion, because the Lion's going to eat her. The Lion is a wild animal, you know, and it doesn't know any different. But somehow she manages to tame this individual. I feel that this person is a very wild individual. Also, this person might just go with their passions, which might explain why their strengths are this and their weaknesses are this. Because they tend to go with whatever feels good at the time. I feel with the strength energy, they tend to give in to their urges as well. The strength energy often also means not to give in to your urges. It means that you've got a lot of self-control. In the reverse, this person doesn't have much self-control. So I see this as somebody who doesn't have a lot of self-control. Somebody who doesn't have a lot of patience either. Somebody who doesn't want to work towards building something stronger. Even in the most testing of times, this person tends to give in to the negativity or give in to the difficulties of situations. They tend to kind of boulder underneath the pressure, if that makes any sense. What are the obstacles to you guys coming back together though? There's a Queen of Swords in the reverse. So this could be jealousy. This could be resentment as the Queen of Swords in the reverse. This could be you. Queen of Swords in the reverse. You are Aquarius. Now Aquarius would usually be a King of Swords. But the Queen of Swords can also be you because it's a general reading. So the weakness, the blockages to you guys coming back together. This card, when it shows up, can show somebody who's deeply hurt and deeply resentful. So it might be as an energy that the blockages to you guys really coming back together is because there was a lot of deep hurt that was caused in this relationship. Perhaps lies being told. Perhaps, what's the word that I'm looking for? So maliciousness is the Queen of Swords energy. She's often a gossip. She's often somebody who's quite cruel with her words. I'm getting a lot of cruelty with that Queen of Swords in the reverse. And as a result of that cruelty, a lot of resentment, a lot of arguments perhaps with the Queen of Swords in the reverse, a lot of deep, deep hurt. I think that the situation was probably greatly affected, and it might have been affected by the ex's behaviour, Star in the reverse and Strength in the reverse, for example. What is the what would be the outcome if you and this ex were to get back together, Aquarius? There you go, Three of Cups. It would end in tears, probably. Separation, Three of Cups in the reverse. So you guys would probably end in falling out again. Two of Cups in the reverse, Three of Cups, Two of Cups in the reverse, Three of Cups in the reverse. Often cards show people who fall out. They often show lack of agreement, because both cards mean agreement. Both of them. Both of them mean to make promises. If you get a Three of Cups together in the upright and a Four of Cups, if I were to say, will so-and-so keep their promise, and you get the Three of Cups and then the Four of Cups, it's likely that somebody's going to pull out of a promise. They're going to pull out of an agreement. So this is lack of agreement. This is falling out with the Three of Cups in the reverse. This is the breaking up of a friendship, a partnership. So I don't see it lasting with that Three of Cups in the reverse. If you guys were to come back together, this would be the outcome for some of you, the Three of Cups in the reverse. There wouldn't be any happy ever after with this. Probably no marriage, no engagement, if that's the case. Possibly divorce even, if you are married still to this individual. And the final card says, if they came back, should you take them back? Seven of Coins in the reverse. Interesting card to show up, because I feel that this is actually a no with the Seven of Coins in the reverse. Because the Seven of Coins in the reverse, sometimes when you get this position, it's not directly saying yes or no to you. What it's saying is, well, if you took them back, this is what would be the outcome as well. Seven of Coins in the reverse. It says, well, maybe, but you probably, with that Seven of Coins in the reverse, wouldn't get back what you'd put in. Because the Seven of Coins in the reverse says that you make an investment, but the returns on that are very, very small. So I feel that if you should, if the ex came back, should you take them back? Well, I don't think you should even consider it, because the Seven of Coins in the reverse says if it was in the upright, the universe might be saying, because we can get on this area, yes, no, or a maybe. So the maybe card would be the Seven of Coins in the upright, because this would say, well, you could contemplate it with the Seven of Coins in the upright, but in the reverse it would say, probably, no, don't even bother contemplating it. Let it go. Just let the whole thing go. So I don't even think you should contemplate it with the Seven of Coins in reverse, because more than likely you're not going to get back what you've put into the relationship. Let's get some clarifiers. It's a very interesting reading, and what we're going to do, we're going to get some clarifiers on these areas, Aquarius, and see what's going on. So we're using our small Hanson Roberts deck, and we're going to have a look. 2 cards per area, maybe 3 if we need it. So Universe Spirit, why is this ex of Aquarius showing as being the Sun? Why are they showing as being the Sun? Why is Aquarius's ex at this moment in their lives showing as being the Sun? Show me in 2 cards. Well, the High Priestess, this might be somebody around them. Could be a Pisces, male or female, potentially, with that High Priestess energy here. It might be that they're going through a time of quiet reflection, because the High Priestess doesn't always have to be a person. Could be a mystery person around them, though. But also the High Priestess is a time when you take time out of relationships. This is if you get... There are certain cards within the Tarot, Aquarius, that show people on their own. They show people who are single. So... the High Priestess would be one of them, and this is somebody who takes that time out of their own, on their own, to do a little bit. It's like the Hermit, do a little bit of inner reflection, a little bit of thought, a little bit of healing, maybe meditation, that type of thing. This is also the card about learning, studying, that type of thing. So it's either a person around them, perhaps could be a Pisces or a secret individual, or they're really quite happy being on their own with the High Priestess energy here. 4 of Coins in the reverse. So the 4 of Coins reverse means to let down your guard, and you're open to things when you're a 4 of Coins in the reverse. So it's almost like it could either be that there is a secret person here that is helping this individual. Now, the High Priestess can also be a counsellor within the Tarot. So this person might be going through a time of counselling, for example, because it might be there's a High Priestess that is helping this person to open up, to release maybe some limitations or difficulties that this person has endured. For example, with the 4 of Coins in the reverse. I feel that it's either a person, could be a counsellor with that High Priestess sitting there, or it could be a secret lover or a Pisces individual that is helping this person to overcome with this Four of Coins in the reverse, some difficulties that they've been going through, and I think that they're happier for it. It might be that being on their own enables them to go out and do exactly what it is that they want with this Four of Coins in the reverse, because the Four of Coins in the reverse means coming out of a comfort zone, doing different things, experiencing different things, and learning how to go out there and just experience life on your own terms, and not feeling that you're having to hold on to anything or be beholden to any one thing, or anybody's being beholden to you. So, but it could also be that, you know, they've gone through a very sort of passive time, quiet time with the High Priestess that's helping them with the Four of Coins in the reverse release you, or release a situation. But I think that whatever the case is, whether it's a person, a counsellor, or whether it's their own time of silence and solitude with that High Priestess, it's really helping them to open up to who they are and maybe experience something different with these two cards showing here. And this is why this person, this ex, seems to be a lot happier for that. Why is their strength the Seven of Swords? Why is this person's strength the Seven of Swords? Why is the ex's strength showing as being the Seven of Swords? Right, so the Hanged Man shows somebody who's in limbo. This person's hands are tied. This person tends to hold back though, because the Hanged Man, but the Hanged Man can mean to surrender as well. It's difficult with some of these cards because the Hanged Man in the upright can also mean that you tend to hold yourself back as well. Things tend to be up in the air, or you tend to kind of you're kind of very resistant when you get a Hanged Man in the upright as well. Let's have a look what shows with that. Okay. Right, the Hanged Man has caused loss. So I feel that they are showing as the Hanged Man, and it's because of their behaviour as the Hanged Man, it's caused loss, it's caused sadness. Their strengths are the Seven of Swords. So I feel that, and I'm wondering if we could read probably the Hanged Man as a card of privacy and hidden things that people are holding back on, they're not saying. So it might be that I'm looking at this as their strengths either being that they're very good at being quite deceptive and covering their tracks. Because it might be that the Hanged Man, them as the Hanged Man, they seem to kind of hold back a little bit in relationships, and this is what's caused the loss in these relationships, because they're very difficult, they're very resistant to opening themselves up fully. But I think that this is more about not really deception. I think it's their strengths are covering their tracks. I think their strengths are covering their tracks and avoiding certain things, possibly avoiding things within themselves as their strength. It's almost like this person doesn't face up to the truth of who they are. I feel that their strengths are not facing up to the truth more than anything with that Seven of Swords energy of who they are. Because it is their very resistance in relationships, I feel, with the Hanged Man energy that's caused the endings or loss of relationships. They're not willing to, and it might be here that they're, because if you look at the Hanged Man, the Four of Coins, you can see somebody who's quite resistant here, but somebody who's letting go of the resistance here with the Four of Coins. So I do feel that with this ex, this individual here, I feel that their strengths are with the Seven of Swords to avoid something within themselves. So it's almost like to fool themselves. It's not about fooling other people, even though I feel that in part they have done this. I feel that this is more about them fooling themselves. That's their strength, because they've avoided things. They have ignored with this Seven of Swords energy that it is their very actions as the Hanged Man that's causing the ending of relationships, the problems, the disappointment in relationships. It's their unwillingness to change, or their slowness to change with that Hanged Man energy, because the Hanged Man is a very slow process. So if you look at it, it's like a baby coming down the birthing canal. And we know how long child labour takes. So it is their slowness to change with the Hanged Man, I would say. I don't even think it, I think it put in part, yes, it's resistance, but I'd probably say more than likely with the Hanged Man, it's their slowness with the Hanged Man to change, to open up to the truth of who they are. That is causing the loss in relationships, and that's why their strength is the Seven of Swords. It could be that their strength is deceiving the person that they're with, because their slowness to change is causing the loss, but I think that this is more about their deception of the self. I feel that their strength is in deceiving themselves, and that they don't realise. And why are they deceiving themselves? Because they don't recognise that it is the slowness to change. It is their behaviour as the Hanged Man here that is causing the loss within relationships. And it might be that right now they're feeling happier. Maybe they're getting some counselling with the High Priestess energy that's allowing them to open up a little bit. Doesn't have to be from a proper mediator or a proper counsellor. It might simply be that this could be a friend or somebody around them that's talking to them, or this could just be their own intuition, because the High Priestess also means to be highly intuitive. So they might be feeling happy because at the moment it might be that their intuition is telling them that they need to change with the Four of Coins in the reverse. They need to take down their guard of the Hanged Man energy that has caused a loss in their relationship. So I feel that this person's going through some form of a spiritual change here. Why is there weakness, the Star in the reverse? Why is this person's weakness? In 2 cards from the top of the deck, why is this person's weakness the Star in the reverse? Show me. They grow tired. Now, this is the Hanson Roberts deck. God, I hope you can see that, guys. Let's see. So we're going to put that over there. See this 7 of Pentacles energy showing here? It shows somebody who's tired. They put a lot of effort into planting the seeds, but they're tired and they're knackered, and they tend to have, if you look at this particular 7 of Coins, this is why I always look at the pictures on the cards. If you look at this particular 7 of Coins, Aquarius, you'll see somebody who's knackered. They're really tired. They've planted a lot of stuff. They put a lot of effort into growing something, and they're saying, I'm really tired now. Is this going to grow? It's almost like they've been waiting for a long, long time to see what the results are. So this person tends to give up. Their weakness is they give up. Because whatever it is that they're working on in terms of relationships with that 7 of Coins, it just seems to me that they run out of steam when things don't develop early enough or quick enough energy. And the 9 of Coins shows here. So the 9 of Coins is a card about being on one's own. So, you know, this is also about gain. So it's almost like they give up on the idea of that there could be gain in a situation with the 9 of Coins energy. Because what they're looking for, and I pull the 3rd card, because whenever you get that 9 of Coins lady looking towards a card, this is what she's thinking of when she's on her own. So I feel that this person tends to give up. They put a lot of effort into a situation, but then they tend to give up and they tend to get bored, and they grow very restless with that 7 of Coins energy here, because what they're looking at as the 9 of Coins is instant gratification. We know that the Page of Cups is a card about instant gratification. It's a card about, you know, nice messages and flirtatiousness, and you're wanting that dream of love to manifest almost immediately. So this person doesn't want to put the hard work in. What they're looking is for the instant gratification. They don't feel it's necessary, or they just grow bored, or they grow very tired of waiting. So this person doesn't want to put the hard work and effort into relationships. What this person tends to do is they tend to give up. Their weakness is giving up. Their weakness is that they lack hope and they lack the faith that things can turn out really well. Because all of the work that they put in here, they tend to grow very tired. Because what they're looking at the 9 of Coins is this instant kind of romantic fantasy that should really manifest almost immediately. And it's almost like they don't realise, and that might be why they're this. Their strengths are the 7 of Swords, that they're fooling themselves. I think this is more about this person who's fooling themselves. I think their strengths are that they're very good at fooling themselves. This person looks like they've got something of a mental problem going on, because they look like they fool themselves. Because it is the slowness of their ability to see things from another perspective with the Hanged Man energy. The other perspective is, well, maybe I need to put the work into relationships here if I want to get stuff out. You know, I put all the hard work in, so why not just wait and see how things develop? This person wants instant gratification in relationships. And what it is their strengths are that 7 of Swords. They basically evade and they basically ignore. They basically pull the wool over their own eyes, because they're not realising with this 7 of Swords energy that it is their slowness to realise, and their slowness to realise that they need to look at relationships from a different perspective that's causing the loss. Probably because they're not getting the instant gratification that they want here, so they tend to give up on things. This looks to me to be a slight narcissist, if I'm being completely honest with you. The only saving grace so far around this person is that this is I think that this is more, this isn't another love interest, I don't think. I think that this is more with the High Priestess, their intuition, or maybe they've done some deep introspection on who they are with this High Priestess that's made them realise with the High Priestess that they need to change with the 4 of Coins. They need to do something differently, and I think that they're happy, because I think that this person has realised that in this area here. Why do they feel the 10 of Swords in the reverse for Aquarius? Why does this ex feel the 10 of Swords in the reverse for Aquarius? Show me. Well, the Knight of Cups is all about love, and it's when you get this card, it's about offering. Now, the Knight of Cups can run twofold. It can be that you're offering or you're asking with the Knight of Cups, but it means bringing a gift, and it means offering your love, and it means offering your emotions, wearing your heart on your sleeve with that Knight of Cups. Well, it's called Five of Wands. But I think them as a Knight of Cups, I think that it was their fantasy. Not just their fantasy, but maybe what they were offering, causing tension. This is where the Knight of Cups becomes a negative card, even in the upright. Be careful with tarot, because even if you get a Knight of Cups, the Knight of Cups is not the most reliable of knights. The only reliable knight, well, to be honest with you, I don't think any of the knights are really reliable when it comes to love, because the Knight of Coins can mean something takes forever to happen with an individual. They just drag their heels. They want something long term, but they're just dragging their heels. It can mean somebody who's more invested in themselves than anything else. And the Knight of Cups is a romanticist as well. It's a fantasy. Okay, so I think that them as the Knight of Cups was causing problems in the relationship. So it might be them that they weren't 100% committed. It was all about, and the Knight of Cups is a narcissist in the tarot, by the way, as well. They feel over the worst. They feel healed from this situation, because I think it was them. I think these cards are trying to explain the more negative connotations of the Knight of Cups energy, which is the fantasist element of the Knight of Cups energy. Okay, it's the person who thrives on the fantasy of love, but not the reality of love. It's the person that likes to go out and flirt. So this person might have wanted to go out and flirt and to offer his cup of love to many other people. And it might be, because the Five of Wands represents competitors, it might be that this person wanted to offer his or her cup of love to other people, Five of Wands. And that's why this person feels for you, Aquarius, over the worst, accepting of the situation, healed, because I think that this person wanted to go out with that Knight of Cups and offer their cup of love to many others with the Five of Wands. They didn't just want to offer it to you because this person's too restless. Once they get bored, they want to look at other people. Why did you feel the Two of Cups in the reverse for this ex? Why does Aquarius feel the Two of Cups in the reverse for the ex in two cards? Well, the Five of Pentacles can run twofold in a love reading. Can either mean that you're supporting the partner, Five of Pentacles, through difficulties, you're in it through thick and thin, or the Five of Coins can mean rejection and to feel shut out by an individual. So it might be that you felt shut out by this individual with the Five of Coins energy showing here, and the need to move on from that with the Six of Swords energy, okay? It might also be that this ex shut you out and moved on with the Six of Swords. So you don't feel anything. You don't feel an emotional connection. You feel that probably this person was a false twin flame or a false... I'm reluctant really to use the word twin flame, because twin flame is not as cut and dried as you guys might think. Okay, twin flames are sometimes sent just to teach us things, but more than likely, false soulmate. You don't really feel that this person was a proper soulmate with the Two of Cups in the reverse, and therefore some of you guys, your feelings might be that you don't feel emotionally connected with this individual anymore. You're not on the same page as them anymore. You didn't have the same ideology and the same ideas about relationships. I think it's because this person probably cut you off. It's either you cut them off, Five of Coins, or it might be because you feel that you were being shut out by this individual and needed to move on, or this person shut you out and moved on to something else with the Six of Swords, or even, you know, moved away, for example, with the Six of Swords, and that's why you don't feel connected with this individual anymore. Why is the strengths in this relationship, when it was happening, the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse in two cards? Why was the strengths in this relationship, the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse in two cards? Well, we've got new love here, and the Ace of Cups usually represents new love or love in its early stages, and the World. Okay, so I feel that within this relationship, because the World card can mean two things in a reading. It can either mean that something has come to the ending of a cycle, or it can mean that it's the greatest achievement that you've ever made. And so I feel that this relationship with this World card, for some of you guys, it might be that this love... And the World card can also mean that you are taught something. So this is the last in the Major Arcana. We know that the Major Arcana are lessons that we need to learn in the Tarot. So it might be through this relationship you did a great deal of learning, a great deal of maturing with the World energy showing here, as I would probably read those energies. All right, because it wouldn't make any sense to say, you know, this was the greatest love, which is why it was the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. If it was the greatest love, then it taught you that you could love and you were capable of that. If it's love that came to an end, it didn't last very well, then in that time, the strengths with the Wheel of Fortune were in that time you learnt something from this relationship, which benefits you going forward. But I think it was within the early stages, or within this fleeting love, because the Ace of Cups can also be a short-term love affair with the Ace of Cups energy. It might be with the World card you learnt a great deal about yourself, a great deal about relationships, and a great deal about people. I think that you learned something very valuable here with these two cards in this relationship, and that's why the Wheel of Fortune was the strengths in this relationship. You learned something about yourself, and I feel that in a way this ex has learned something about themselves, because they're doing this here as the Sun because of that High Priestess and the Four of Coins in the reverse. So I think that you probably learned something about each other, about yourselves, in the relationship when it happened. And I think that for the ex, this might have benefited them, showing here. Why was the weakness, the Four of Swords in the reverse between Aquarius and the ex? Why was the weakness, the Four of Swords in the reverse between Aquarius and this ex? Because the Four of Wands, so this is all about a relationship, a happy relationship, a joyful relationship with the Four of Wands energy showing here. What shows with it? Okay, so there was deception within this relationship, because you've got the Four of Wands, which is often marriage, union, happy relationship, joyful time, but you've got a Seven of Swords showing here. So the weakness was restlessness, I feel, with this Four of Swords in the reverse. And it might be, maybe there was a restlessness, maybe the ex wanted to return to somebody else. Maybe the ex was thinking about someone else, but this was restlessness. Also you, possibly feeling restless, never really feeling very comfortable in the relationship with that Four of Swords showing there, because the Four of Swords in the reverse says, I don't feel comfortable, I can't relax. So I feel the weakness was that you weren't able to relax as well with that Four of Swords in the reverse, Aquarius, because I feel that you felt, or you knew, that there was some deception going on within this relationship. Could be that this person was sleeping with somebody else, because you do have within the home deception. Within the home there was deception. Within the relationship there was deception. So I think that you were always kind of on your guard, and you always thought, no, there's something, and this is not just deception, this is a lack of trust when you get the Seven of Swords. So I feel you know that you couldn't trust this relationship, and you couldn't trust this ex, and that's why the weakness was that you couldn't relax the Four of Swords energy showing in the reverse. Why is the potential for Aquarius and this ex the Nine of Coins when it comes to reconciling? Why is the potential for Aquarius and this ex the Nine of Coins when it comes to reconciling? Show me in two cards. Right, the Knight of Pentacles. So this is all about slow moving energy when it comes to love, but somebody who has a long-term goal to commit to a relationship. There we go, Ace of Rods. So this long-term, if there is the potential for you guys to reconcile, because you've got the Nine of Coins in the reverse, but that's only because somebody has a long-term view, and I think this might be the ex, to start this relationship up again. So I think that the ex isn't truly finished with this situation with you, because the potential is the Nine of Coins in the reverse. This means to come out of a time of being on one's own. You know, remember, this is the card that if you live on your own, you could easily be selling up and going and moving in with a flatmate or family or a shared house or whatever it is. So this is the card now that says, well, one is not on their own anymore. So there is potential here for you and this person to reconcile, Aquarius. And I think it's because the Knight of Pentacles, this ex could have been maybe a Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus individual, doesn't have to be. But there's a long-term view with this Knight of Coins energy here to start again, to restart the relationship with the Ace of Rods energy. And I think that this might be the ex here, because this isn't you, this is the ex. So somebody's got a long-term view in which they're thinking, yeah, we could restart this relationship again. And I think that this is the ex showing up here. Maybe it's because they're trying to do some inner work with the High Priestess showing there in that Four of Coins. The overall analysis of the ex, Aquarius, is the Strength card. Why is the overall analysis of this ex the Strength in the reverse? Why is the overall analysis of this ex the Strength in the reverse in two cards? Right, the Chariot. This person's often pulled in two directions, I feel, showing here. Let's have a look at Strength and the Two. And you've got the Two of Rods as well. And the Two of Rods, again, is one of those cards And it's a card that Two of Rods can work two ways. It can either be that somebody's at a little bit of an impasse, somebody's at a little bit of a crossroads here. So it might be that this person is pushed and pulled in two directions because they're at a bit of a crossroads as to what route they need to take concerning you. And that's why they're showing us strength. I think that in the reverse, this person seems to be a little bit weak and they seem to be a little bit overwhelmed. I feel that the overall analysis is this person's quite a weak person. They're quite, they're somebody who tends to get bogged down in the details when you get the strength card in the reverse. This person doesn't have a lot of inner confidence. When I look at him or her as a person with the strength energy, this person doesn't know how to own a situation because it's always a case of, and I think it feeds into this as well, this area here, where the ex, concerning their feelings for you is, well, you know, I've accepted the situation and I've healed from it because I want to offer my love to other people. I don't just want to offer it to Aquarius. I don't just want to offer what I have to Aquarius. I want to offer my love to others. This Knight of Cups facing into the Five of Wands. That's what this ex wants to do. Okay, and you feel this, the Two of Cups in the reverse. No bueno. There's no agreement here with this ex. There's no connection because this person might have blocked me out, pushed me out and moved on with the Six of Swords energy. But it's funny because this ex here, Nine of Coins, potential to reconcile is a yes, Nine of Coins in the reverse. Because this ex is the Knight of Coins and he's looking directly over the Ace of Wands and he or she is kind of saying, one day maybe we can restart something. So this person has it in mind that even though right now they're over it because they want to go out and pursue others, they're saying, well, in the long term, maybe I could come back to Aquarius because long term, somewhere way down in the future with this Knight of Coins, I'm possibly looking to start something up again with Aquarius. However, the problem is, as a person, the overall analysis of who this person is, because remember this is who they are right now in their life, and this is the overall analysis of who they are, they're very weak with the strength energy. Very weak. And the weakness comes from they're always with that Chariot energy being pushed and pulled in two directions, because they're always at that place where they're saying, I don't know whether, and also the Two of Wands, when you get this card, Aquarius says, I don't know whether I want to come out of a comfort zone. I kind of like where I am, so I don't know whether I want to go over that border. So this person's always being pushed and pulled in two directions. There's always an inner conflict going on with this ex as to whether they should venture forward into new territory. But this is what they're working on here, but they're always being pushed and pulled in two directions. Always an inner conflict going on as whether they should go over the border, because they're always at that kind of crossroads in their life where should I go down this path or should I go down that path. This person's not a particularly consistent individual, and yet they say, yeah, potential for reconcile with Aquarius because somewhere long term, somewhere down that track, somewhere long term, somewhere in the future with the Knight of Coins, we could start again. Why is the blockages to you and this ex reconciling the Queen of Swords, Aquarius? Why is the blockages to you and this ex, Aquarius, reconciling the Queen of Swords reversed in two cards? Wheel of Fortune. So this is all about positive changes. No, and the Ten of Swords have failed. It's led to failure. So any changes with the Wheel, and also the Wheel of Fortune, be careful with that card as well, because Wheel of Fortune can show up when there is a maybe, maybe not, a yes, no, yes, no. If you get the Wheel of Fortune in a yes or a no reading, that means maybe, maybe not, because the wheel can turn either way, for good or for bad. This is delays and standstills. This is either way. It keeps turning, but it can be yes, no, yes, no. We can see the wheel is turning to the Ten of Swords. So yeah, you might have something brief with that Wheel of Fortune, but it's bound to failure with the Ten of Swords, because the Ten of Swords follows the wheel. So we can see that these positive changes bring nothing. They bring nothing but failure and problems with that Ten of Swords energy. And also the inconsistency with that Wheel of Fortune, because it goes round and round and round, brings failure in with the Ten of Swords and problems and endings. So the potential for you to reconcile is a Queen of Swords. And Queen of Swords, whether it's upright or reverse, means a no, because it means something is cancelled. So I'm seeing cancellation here as well with the Queen of Swords energy, showing as the potential, is this the potential? No, that's not the potential to reconcile. What area is this again? Why do I keep it? My brain is like a sieve sometimes when I'm doing readings. Yeah, the Queen of Swords, if you were to, why have I forgotten what area I'm on? So this is who the X is right now. Oh yeah, this is the blockages. Sorry guys, for a moment I just got brain freeze there for a moment. So the blockages to you reconciling are the Queen of Swords in the reverse. So Queen of Swords in reverse, yeah, it could be you, but it could be that this is resentment in the relationship. That's what's blocking the relationship from really reconciling and coming back together. Hatred is the Queen of Swords energy. But I think it's hatred and resentment, because every time something good happens, what follows good is bad, the Ten of Swords. Every time something positive happens, it leads to the Ten of Swords, it leads to failure. And so I feel that what's happening here in this area here is the blockage is you, as that Queen of Swords in the reverse. I think that there is a great deal of resentment that comes with some of you Aquarians with this Queen of Swords in the reverse. Because every time something positive happened in this relationship, it ended up failing. It ended up just being a complete and utter failure. It could never really follow through. And therefore, the outcome, if you guys were to get together, is the Three of Cups in the reverse. And why is the outcome, if Aquarius were to come together again with this X, why would the outcome be the Three of Cups reverse? If Aquarius were to come together with the X, why would the outcome be the Three of Cups in the reverse? Show me. Right, Eight of Coins can either mean in a love reading you're putting hard work and effort in, or something that's going round and round and round in circles. This can also be somebody who's very focused on work. Okay, so the Seven of Wands is a card about rejecting things or rejecting people. So it's either that this would end in failure no matter what for some of you guys. Three of Cups in the reverse, disagreement, breakup, falling out. It's either that this person works a lot, maybe with the Eight of Coins energy, they're very focused on their work, and as a result of that, they tend to block you out or ignore you, or they don't pay attention to your demands and what you want, because the Seven of Wands can show somebody who's demanding something. The Six of Wands of the hand saying, give it to me, and the guy holding the wand is saying no. Or it could be because with the Eight of Coins, effort, hard work is being rejected. Somebody doesn't want to put the effort into the relationship, could be the ex. Or the Eight of Coins could mean, well, because things seem to be going round and round in circle, it ends up in rejection with the Seven of Wands. So either way you want to read that combination, this couldn't work for you guys. And therefore, the overall outcome with the 12 card is, if this ex came back to Aquarius, should they take them back with the Seven of Coins in the reverse? If the ex came back to Aquarius, should they take them back with the Seven of Coins in the reverse? Why do you give me, well, the Five of Swords, did you see that? Just flicked out Five of Swords first. Let's get the, so it's because of the Five of Swords. It's saying you're not going to get what you want, number one, with the Seven of Coins, and not even to consider it with the Seven of Coins in the reverse, because the ex is probably going to take advantage. Five of Swords in the upright concerning a situation in love either means conflict, tension within a relationship, loss, theft, but also somebody who's an opportunist. Somebody who's taking advantage energy showing there, okay? And let's have a look at what the next card is showing with that. I'm just going to flick again. What shows with the Five of Swords energy? Okay, so you've got the Seven of Cups here. So I think that this is, you know, you would lose. I think that the Five of Swords is now saying because you would lose with the Five of Swords. Seven of Cups, because this person's always looking at other options. Seven of Cups is a card about looking at other options. So I think that it's saying that you would lose. So you shouldn't even consider it, because you would lose Five of Swords. Because of other options, the Seven of Cups, this person's always got their head in the clouds. They're always looking at other options. So you would lose, probably because this person's always looking at other options. So I think the universe is saying on this reading, I'm going to quickly go over it again before we finish. There's no way really to cut down these readings. Just like on the website when I do these readings, they take about an hour and a half to do. They are very, very long-winded readings, but they're important to do because they're so involved. We're going to go through this reading again, Aquarius, and have a look at the ex. Okay, so how does your ex feel about you? Who is the ex in their life right now? So this ex seems to be feeling good about themselves. They're feeling happy. They're feeling a sense of confidence in who they are. And I think it's because either there is, I don't think this is a lover, they might have someone, but this doesn't smack to me intuitively wise as being a secret individual. It's either that this is a person around them who's allowing them to be themselves with the Four of Coins in the reverse. Or, so if it's a lover, secret lover, this is somebody, if it's a high priestess, then this person probably isn't that serious for them, because it shows as a secret individual. So it might be if it's a lover, it's not that serious. This person allows them to be themselves with the Four of Coins in the reverse. We can see this person has commitment issues. So this person, if they're a secret lover, they might allow them to be themselves with the Four of Coins in the reverse. If it's not a lover, it might be that they're getting some counselling. Somebody's talking to them, somebody's helping them, and it's allowing them to release who they are, to do things differently. It might be that this is their own intuition that's helping them to see things in a different way with the Four of Coins and recognise that they need to kind of loosen up a little bit. What is their strengths? Well, their strengths are in ignoring and evading important issues within themselves, within their lives. And I think it's within themselves because we've got this Hanged Man here. And the Hanged Man energy is all about changing your perspective, but it's also about paying attention to what your spiritual guidance is telling you, whether it's from God, angels, or just your intuition. This is all about paying attention to that. But it is their slow move to change with the Hanged Man, because the Hanged Man represents slow move to change, because it represents the birthing channel. You see this person's being born again, but it's a very slow rebirth. So this person, really their strengths are to ignore and to avoid what the truth is within themselves, because the Hanged Man, it is their slowness to change with the Hanged Man showing there that has brought the loss in relationships with the Five of Cups. But their strengths are to ignore that. So they're ignoring that they're playing a huge, huge part. That's their strength, to ignore that they've got a huge, huge part to play, I feel, in the failure of their relationships. However, right now, this person's feeling happier because I think that there is a sense of realisation that this is what's going on and this is what's constituted to the ending of possibly a lot of their relationships, and their intuition is telling them that they need to change up. They need to change their ways with the Four of Coins in the reverse. However, this person's weaknesses, Aquarius, the Star in the reverse, they tend to give up hope. They don't trust. They don't have a lot of faith. Because whenever they try and put hard work and effort into a relationship, they become very tired and very bored at having to wait for things to resolve. Because what they're looking at, as the Nine of Coins individual, is instant gratification with the Page of Cups. So that what they want is they want the good times to roll all of the time. They think that romance, all it will take for a relationship to sustain itself, is just romance, and it's just having a good time and sweet nothings and candlelit dinners. What they don't realise is that sometimes relationships become boring, and sometimes it's during those times, the times of silence, the times when you're not doing things, the times when you're not saying sweet nothings to each other, that you need to really work on keeping the fire and the energy and the love going. This person tends not to like to do that, and that's their weakness, because this person is an excitement junkie probably. How do they feel about you? The Ten of Swords in the reverse. So this person has healed over you with the Ten of Swords in the reverse. And they might feel that you've healed over them, because they wanted to offer love. Knight of Cups here. Offer their cup of love to many others. Five of Wands. Not just to you, but they really wanted to kind of play the field in a way. And I feel that it almost feels like they feel that you've given up on them, but also the Ten of Swords says to me that they feel for you, well, you know, I accept the situation for what it is and I'm going to move on because I want to offer my cup of love to other people to see what's out there. You feel the Two of Cups in the reverse for them. No agreement. There's no connection here, Aquarius says to itself with this individual. This person was a false soulmate because they possibly abandoned me with the Five of Coins energy, or I had to abandon them because I had to abandon them because they were shutting me out and move on. Or this person abandoned me, Five of Coins energy, and moved on with the Six of Swords. The strengths in this relationship are what you learnt when you were in it. Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. It couldn't go on. It wasn't your destiny. It wasn't your long-term fate. It was your destiny in the time that it happened so that you could learn something. Because you've got the Ace of Cups here. This is the new relationship. This is the relationship in the early stages. Okay? But also this can be healing as well. I feel that this is more about this relationship in the short time for some of you guys, and it could have been a long-term relationship, whatever it was. But this relationship helped you to learn, I feel, with the World Energy, because the World Energy is the last card in the Major Arcana, and all Major Arcanas usually represent lessons that we're learning. So this relationship helps you guys to learn something about yourself. I'm just going to see what it helps you to learn with that World card. What did this relationship help Aquarius to learn? What did this relationship help Aquarius to learn? Show me. There you go. Ace of Swords, the truth. And what was the truth? What was the truth? Eight of Cups. That you didn't need to settle for anything less. Eight of Cups is, I'm walking towards finding something better. So this relationship, the Ace of Cups, this love helps you guys, I feel, with the world energy to learn something about yourself. There's a very much a spiritual element, I feel, showing here, Aquarius. And that was the truth. The Ace of Swords is always about the truth. And what was the truth? That you deserve better, the Eight of Cups. That anything or anyone that comes into your existence that isn't giving you what you need, you deserve better. And that's the brilliant thing. What doesn't kill you, Aquarius, innately makes you stronger. And this made you stronger as a person. So the strength of this relationship when you were in it was that it was, even though for some of you guys, it wasn't your destiny, this love helped you to learn. This short-term love or love in its entirety helps you to learn the truth. And the truth is you deserve better with the Eight of Cups. You deserve finding someone better. Somebody who was going to be what you wanted. The potential for you guys to reconcile, well, yeah, there is potential, Nine of Coins. Because this person, even though they've kind of let go of the relationship at the moment, in their mind, in the back of their mind somewhere with that Knight of Coins, long term they're thinking, yeah, we could possibly start something again in the future. Ace of Wands. Maybe this is where this spiritual evaluation and change is coming in here. So this person's possibly still got their eye on, yeah, long term, somewhere down the track, something could start again. However, what was the weakness in the relationship? Four of Swords, restlessness. You didn't trust this person, Aquarius, because in the home, you reckon there was deception going on. Four of Wands and the Seven of Swords energy showing together. The final areas, who is this person? What is the overall analysis that the universe can make of this person? This person is strength. They're a very weak, they're reverse. Very weak person, doesn't have much confidence in situations. Is always tussling with themselves with the strength energy in the reverse. Why is that? Because of the Chariot. Always this inner conflict going on between two paths with the Two of Wands. What should I do? Should I be with Aquarius? Should I be with this person? Should I be going in this direction in love or that direction? What are the blocks to you guys being together? Queen of Swords. Too much hurt. Far, far too much hurt. Because every time something good happened, it ended up like a crock of shit. Ten of Swords. It ended. It failed. This Wheel of Fortune didn't last very long. So there was there was inconsistency in the luck that was occurring in the relationship. In the good times, when the good times happened, they didn't last with that Ten of Swords. Something would always turn for bad. And that's what the resentment is. And that's why the block is. There's a lack of trust with the Queen of Swords. She's always lacking trust. So the blockages are a lack of trust, and it's coming probably more than likely from you. If you were to come back with this person, what would be the outcome? Separation, Three of Cups in the reverse. Why is that? Because perhaps all the work that you put into this relationship, Aquarius, would be rejected by this individual. Maybe this person focuses on their work too much, and this ends in them not having any time for you with the Seven of Wands. Or this relationship just seems to go round and round in circles, ending in resentment with the Seven of Wands energy and struggle. The overall outcome for this, if this ex came back, should you take them back, Aquarius? Hell no. Seven of Coins in the reverse. Don't even go there with that person. Don't even consider it. Because the Five of Swords, this person could cheat as well. Five of Swords shows infidelity, somebody who's unfaithful and you can't trust them. This will probably be telling you as well, you can't trust this ex, Seven of Swords, because they are unfaithful with the Five of Swords energy, because they're always looking at other options. Five of Swords can show an unfaithful lover. Seven of Cups always looking at other options. And we see here that this person, their feelings for you with the Ten of Swords in the reverse. They seem to be healing, overcoming the situation with you, probably because they want to give their love to others. So you really can't trust them, I feel, in this area here. I think this is somebody you can't trust. Long term, the cheeky bastard has the idea that you guys could start something up again. But that's just here. in the potential for a reconciliation. You might even go back because you got the 9 of coins in the reverse. But really you should say no, because they're probably unfaithful with the 5 of swords showing there, and look at other options with the 7 of cups. They might even cut you out to look at other options as well with the 7 of cups. So they'll probably do the same thing that they did here, which is why you don't feel that they were a soulmate and you don't feel a connection with them. Very, very, very brilliant reading. Very interesting. Obviously, it's just a general reading. If it doesn't resonate with you, then that's great. But I loved doing this reading. I thought it was exceptional. I'd like to say thanks ever so much for your time, Aquarius, and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.